Astralis for third place in the IEM Fall EU portion. Who will win it out? We're about to find out. Vertigo pistol is about to get underway.
And everyone is going to be keeping their eyes on Zawu just to see, can he replicate what he did on map 1 into the second. Fast play out to this ramp. Contact Vitality going incredibly quick into A.
They are, and I always mention it about how, you know, being the team that can pick Vertigo, it gives you a bit of advantage as the T side is so handy. And now some shots coming in from the side, some aggression perhaps, but it's not being answered with anything back. Oh my goodness, Masuta, 3 kills on the entry. Astralis were trying something there to get some frags in return, but they've just been absolutely rolled. Is this setting the tone already? Zyro with 1 as well. Oh my goodness, that's just absolute obliteration.
Yeah, I had my binoculars on Zywu in that round. Maybe I should shift it ever so slightly to Masuta. My goodness, what a few entries that was to the side. And when you think out to the sandbags, Lucky starts off, gets that first pick. You think to yourself, all right, they've got some A players. Rotations are coming in quickly. This could be a strong defensive. And then that happens. Vitality just exploding forward, obliterating everyone from Astralis.
It's crazy how they got the first pick and then it just fell apart so quickly. I mean, at the blink of an eye, Masuta with 3 headshots, absolutely nutty. And now all Astralis really have are these pistols in the next. 5.7s, Deagles and P250s as well. There's a little bit of utility at least, and they do have grenades available to go for a little bit of a stack perhaps in the left-hand corner, but it will be avoided for now and it'll go toward the right, which is where Zyro is residing. There's the double coming in toward Masuta's position, but only a little bit of chip damage, nothing critical. This is still all in Vitality's favour.
Yeah, these nades not going down to the exact same position in terms of a stack. They've still done quite a lot of damage onto Masuta, moving around that forklift at the lower ramp position. And for Vitality, it's definitely a lot quieter and slower than it was in that last round. It was all out aggression with the Glocks.
It was, and that's what you want to see usually from the pistols. It can be some of the scariest pistols come up against, of course, in those sort of situations on those pistols. When you're jumping around, making yourself hard to hit, it'll be pretty impossible. Masuta will be deploying a little bit of utility toward A, but it's all going to be a ruse. Shock is already running in toward B, and there's actually no one here to directly defend it. Only one towards CT, so it should be a plant, and Vitality have once again overcome the pistols on Astralis. This is a very smart round from them. It's a little bit of a fake, has drawn so many players over, and it's probably going to be a full save. We might be in a situation where we see all 10 players remain alive.
Honestly, there was not much to that round for Vitality. They put, what, a molly up to sandbags. It got re-smoked by Zip. Oh, we're just walking B. It's completely open. There's one player here that's falling back, and round is over. It didn't feel as if there was a massive read and some sort of way that they could force the rotates out. Just a gut feeling with the timing, and my goodness, they walk into the emptiest bomb site possible.
They do. Only that one player toward the gen position, and he fell back straight away. So we are going to be in that strange position of having all 10 players remain alive in a round of Counter-Strike. No one at all will go down, and Astralis will have to try their luck in the next round with exactly the same buy and see if they can do a bit more damage. Maybe a bit more aggression would be the order of the day to try and make something happen rather than sit back as they did. They tried something with those grenades, but only a bit of damage. It wasn't enough in the end.
Not knowing that they've saved everything in, they actually can afford to upgrade some further util, get some more HEs in, knowing, all right, money's not fantastic, it's still there to be used. And for Astralis, they just need anything, hope to not get farmed in from this Mac 10. And for Vitality, walking up ramp, again, this is not even being contested. The CT's quite passive on A.
Yeah, they tried to boost last time, didn't they, Astralis? Didn't really work out for any information at all. And in the end, that was the main reason why it was full 10 players remaining alive. Now, Zipex is trying to shoot some shots through the edge of the wall, trying to do some damage, but not to be. And Apex has actually already got control of sandbags. And when you have control of sandbags in this sort of a round, it can be so difficult to do anything when you're a CT. But this will at least answer back for 1, so that's something. Makes it back into a 4v4. And Zipex is still around about on the site, playing around the smokes. Could be something to have there. But for now, it's still in Vitality's favour as they walk back toward B. It would be the right call. They are looking to try and make up for that previous round, though. Astralis are thinking that it could still be B. There are 2 players rotating over.
And it's a good read for Astralis, in all honesty. They haven't had a massive amount of information, and they are starting to bring players back over to the B side. Vitality don't have a crazy amount of util, and Shock's just running forward.
He is, and he's going to have to take down this player at the back of the site to deal with this round. There's some shoulder picks coming in from both these 2 Astralis players, but no, that's a great pick from Kaijin to help out with drops against Dupree. Magis gets one though. They try and drop the bomb over to default, but no, it gets dropped. And now it's all down to Shox and Zyro with a combined 106 HP. It's not much to work with, but Zyro's doing all the work. That's another frag for him. Now it's all down to Lucky, and they know where he is. Shox being so low is worrisome, but he's got Zyro to help him out. The best man on the planet to help him out. 3 kills for Zyro, 2 in the round. And that really starts him off very nicely indeed to do more damage and make this one of the most insane best-of-3 dominations we've seen in recent times.
And what we love with the star players, right, is that with the RMRs, it's all restricted to one region. So if you want to go and watch Simple, you go and have a look in CIS. If you want to go and have a look at Zywu, you come and have a look here in EU. And then, of course, when we get to the major, that's when everyone comes together. But my goodness, what a show this has been. And what a recovery that was. Astralis, they did a lot of damage in that last round. They can be happy with that.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, you had a chance of winning it, of course, in the end, but not to be, and you take the damage as it is, and now there's Lucky. He's trying to do something on AWP, trying to help out with that sniper rifle is a good chance for him because, you know, he had a really rough nuke, but now he can do more. Second frag from Double Stack, easy for him, looks very simple indeed, and now suddenly out of nowhere, it's a 2v5. They did an entry here, toward B, but Magin says nice timing on his peak, and will just about deal with the Shox. Taking a dink from that AK. The grenade could finish him off. It's going to be a nice one from Kaijin, and it will. But he's in a 1 versus 5 total, and he won't expect the second player in Dupree. So Astralis have a CT round, and one that they will be happy with as well, with 4 players alive.
Yeah, that was very comfortable from Lucky with that AWP. Good to see. And for him, I'm sure there's many hurdles to try and overcome joining up with this Astralis side. The one that comes to my mind straight away is maybe some of the age factors, right? The youngest player other than him on the lineup is Bubsky, that's 23, and Magis the same. He's 18. That's a 5-year gap between the youngest player on Astralis and him. Exonic's double his age, right? He's got to be 35, 36, and we've only got an 18-year-old in Lucky.
It's crazy, isn't it? The youngsters have really come through these days. A good place toward middle for Vitality, though. Bates in the AK of Shox, but Dupree is there to help out. Despite Bubsy going down, it's going to be an easy double spray down for him. He will get dealt with by Apex's CZ, which is unusual to see the CZ on the T side, and not the Tech 9, but he's making it work with the help of Zywu. You'd make anything work with the help of Zywu. You'd be able to save the planet with Zywu, it seems. And now it goes for a 2 versus 2 retake to try and keep this little streak alive for Astralis. They've finally got around on their board, but are they about to lose it straight away? Lucky is here with the AWP looking for something. He has full util, and Zipex has good util as well, so this retake is very possible. 2 versus 2. Flash over the top from Zyro. It delays the time a little bit further. There's more flashes to deploy as well, but now they're out of util. This is where Astralis can pounce. And already there's some tags coming in, trying to do some damage. There's Zyro. There's the first from Apex, and look at the damage done to Lucky from Zyro. That should be the sealer. He does more damage through the corner there with the USP, but it's not going to be. He has to fall away and save the AWP. Vitality once again, their heroes coming through to secure a 4th round.
Zywu and Apex doing some great work to get entries down onto that B site, and just the way they play the post plant, they use the util to perfection. They slow it down, they peek on one another, they make sure they're isolating the fights together as a unit, and it just means that that retake just gets siphoned off by Astralis. Yeah, you're holding onto the AWP from Lucky. It's not enough. We need to see more rounds being posted by them, and for Vitality, as soon as they offer Astralis their first, they answer back quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when Dupree got that 2k, it was going to be enough to recover the situation. They had like a 4v2 or something like that, but then Apex, 2 on the CZ, or at least 1, and damage with the CZ, helping out Zyro with that second one, really made a huge amount of progress on the B site. And when you have an afterplant with those 2, it's very rare it's given up. Very nice stuff from them, as you would expect. And now Astralis, they have their buy, of course. They're at pretty much full strength, apart from Dupree on the FAMAS. They're looking to find a way back into this one already. Vitality looking to go fast into B again. Some damage, but no. Shox still gets the headshot toward Magisk. And do you call the save here?
You kind of have to. You don't really have any other opportunity. Zyro's even thinking about trying to cut any of the rotates off down to that lower position in case there is a wrap in from the B stairs. There can't be much room in this for Astralis, though.
Yeah, I mean, Zipex is still around and about to see if someone on Vitality gets a little bit cheeky and tries to push through a smoke, but it's not going to happen. And again, we're in a situation, despite the fact the damage taken on Vitality is pretty big. I mean, Zyro's 16, and Kaijin on 3 HP. I mean, not anyone on Vitality is 100 HP, but there's nothing you can do about it when the site's taken, and they're going to have to save with all 4 of their players. Just the 1 frag is enough, and Vitality will take their 5th.
Vitality are ranked 3rd in the entire event for their round win percentage in 5v4 situations, just behind NIP and FaZe at getting close to 80%. So really, anytime they're able to find an opening pick and you don't trade back, you need to bring something special. Otherwise, that round is just not coming your way.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing going their way at the moment is they still have another buy, of course, with the four-man save, and it's a rough situation for them, of course. I mean, I mentioned many times when I cast Vertigo that, you know, if you pick this map and you get a chance to start T, which obviously is the way it goes, I mean, you have a great chance because it is a bit of a T-sided map, and honestly, it's expected result at the moment for Vitality. This is exactly what we thought we'd see. An early lead coming in. Astralis need to find some way to get at least, you know, 5 or 6 on the half, perhaps. That would be a great result for them in the end. Lucky scoping around with this AWP toward Gap, looking for something, but the smokes will be covering it for now.
It all just comes down to some sort of jiggle, some sort of wide swing from Masuda to allow Lucky to strike onto that opening man. He's got Zip near him out to the sandbags that can support with some util. So far, this AWP hasn't really been pressured.
It hasn't. At least Lucky has shown up for a couple of frags early on in this game, so he's got a bit of confidence to work with after you're not really seeing anything on Nuke. You will take a bit of a warning shot already and throw that flashbang to fall back. Zipex is here to support, but Zyro is here looking to entry once again. And now they have the utility primed. The Molotovs will be coming in towards sandbags. That'll be cleared out now. They'll know there's no one in that position. But Shox is close toward B, looking for someone on the rotate, perhaps.
Oh, geez, they've got players everywhere. One on the mid lurk for Kurgan, Shogs out of B. For Magisk, all it takes is a molly down to the quad and him overextending to that left-hand side, and he's a dead man.
Yeah, and Apex is close up to help as well. That could be a problem for Magisk. If Shox reveals himself, he's going to be in a tough position to do more than 1-for-1 here. Molotov's going to come in and they are going to try and go toward B. The bomber's not rotated over as of yet, but in it comes. So that will be the player. And look at the time for Kajin. He deals with Bubsky easily. Looking for a second, but Dupree is there. Now it's all Magisk. Can he get more than one on the site here? They're actually stuck behind the smoker Vitality. 25 seconds to go. They have to hurry up. They're going for a boost. That could be cheeky. Apex is next to it, looking to try and get some fragging here to at least get them an entry into the round to get this bomb planted safely. But they have to do it quickly with 15 seconds to go.
Magisk just on the peak, just wasting as much time as possible. Now the fights start coming through. Shox is running out of time. Yes, he deals that frag onto the first. Needs to follow up, needs to go back into the bomb and get it planted. And surely there's just no way this is going to happen. Fake it out, wants to try and draw those CTs out to the open. Got to try and stay alive, do as much damage in. Zip is not going to fall and actually deals with him after time. That's a great fight being won out. And for Vitality, that re-smoke that came in from Magisk on the site, just, it stalled them, didn't it?
It did. It was perfect timing on that smoke, despite this entry from Kajin. I mean, that was the main factor of the round. The smoke making them obvious. I mean, you know, it was definitely, obviously going to be a B play in the end. And there's Shox taken down after time. It won't matter too much because he still had 4.8k in the bank. So being taken down after time on the T-zone can often be a big problem. Not this time. They had the bank built up at least this time. But yeah, it's still 5-2. Try to get around. It's a nice one, but they need more.
Yeah, Lucky got baited just with a jiggle in that last one. Spam coming through. Masuda actually loses that first fight to Bubsky, and Lucky turns it into a 5-on-3.
Very nicely done. Zo's still around though, but he's being tagged down, and eventually the Molotov spreads actually. Bubsky takes him down with the flames, and now all that's really left of Vitality is Shox and Kajin walking back in toward B. They had a lot of success here. But in a 2v5, there's not really much you can do about it. Magisk is still here. He did great work in that previous round to delay the clock down, and he's doing exactly that once again. There'll be a rotation off, though, for now, but only a fallback to Generator as Shox creeps his way up. A minute left on the clock, looking for some entries, but look how many players are here.
It all comes to that crossfire. Very patient from Astralis, not making a lot of info plays, no players searching in this 5-on-2 advantage. Instead, hold the crossfires, wait for the fights to come to them, don't overextend.
Yeah, no need to. Surviving with 5 alive would be absolutely crucial for the future of their CT half. But in comes some smokes and some flashes. They're going to try and send Shox in for some entries, but no, Magisk close up, easily deals him. Now it's all Kajin. Aim looked good on that first kill, but not to be. And Magisk will get both of them. So great hold for Astralis. That's excellent for their economy, as they said. Imagine surviving with 5 alive. That seems to be something that's never happened in this series so far, with how incredibly one-sided Nuke was. Finally, some sort of stranglehold on the game, perhaps.
It feels an in for Astralis, and that was something that was very lacking on Nuke. It never felt as if there was a round that could have shifted it all. Yeah, you had a couple of 1v1 opportunities here or there in that first half for Lucky. Overall, though, this looks promising for Astralis and for Vitality. They're not bringing much when it comes to the upgrades, just some pistols here or there.
Yeah, and not even any armor to go with them, so It's probably going to be a clean-up here for Astralis. They're about to get their 4th on the board unless something ridiculous happens. We've got 3 players here toward A, so it should be a pretty simple hold. Bubsky's grenade will even deal with Masuta. The damage done earlier on the Molotov will even spread to Zyro again. That's the second time in a couple of rounds that Zyro's been caught out by Molotov. Unfortunate. It's down to Shox and Kaji now to look to do some damage, but luckily he's got the full rain with the AWP, and Zipex is there to help anyway. So 5-4, exactly what you'd expect. The big buy can come in now for Vitality. Can they put a stop to this little mini streak from Astralis? Basically the first one Astralis have had in this entire game so far.
Yeah, stepping up, and kill distribution looks much better than it did out in the first map. Because you had, what, Bubsky towards the high end of 20, he was on 10, Magist was on 10, Zip was on 11, 5 kills in from Lucky. So even just the small aspects are starting to change for Astralis. The deficit's only 1 to bring back the top the scoreline, and they're bringing 4 players early round to A.
Yeah, I mean, control of A ramp is critical for both the T and the CT side on this map. I mean, you see it basically every single round. And already some grenade damage exchange toward Masuta. And late placing toward A and going for that execute is something that Vitality haven't really had a chance to do in the last few rounds. They've tried it, but Astralis have put an early stop to it in the last couple. Getting those early 5v3s, of course, which made it impossible to really execute late round. And now, Lucky's still here, teammates in support. They have everything they could ever want here to defend A if Vitality do decide to push up.
I haven't really seen a lot of AWPing from ZywOo over the course of this series. He's actually been holding the AK quite a lot on the T side. And now going to get the big green into this ramp contact. Lucky, very wide on the off angle. Might not expect this. You'd have to imagine that they are going to at least get 1 flash over the sandbags.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about Zyro. I mean, it's a glass cannon AWP as well, and that's risky on the T side at any time. Lucky's here ready to defend, looking for multiple frags. He gets the first. Can he fall behind the angle? No, he can't. Masuta trades it quickly. Now Zipex is under pressure. That's a good opening damage at least toward Bubsky. And get some more progress into his ground as he'll have to fall back from the gap angle. They have progress now, and they have got themselves into a position where they could possibly use their utility with 35 seconds to go. A bit more progress up the A ramp, but Zipex is still here with a smoke to play with.
Just trying to see if he can spam away, and while that's happening, look at Shox out from mid, he catches Dupree, and now that starts scrambling the CTs.
It does, and that could scramble a rotation as well. Bubsky's still here. There is actually a player on the B side, but Shox already takes Bubsky as well. He's so aware his Shox. Finally dealt with by Zipex. The bomb will go down toward A eventually. 12 seconds to go. Zipex could deny it. Kajin's not got it down just yet, but it is being watched for, so it should be fine. Masuta and Kajin, the youngsters on this roster, doing good work to secure this site. Looking for a Zipex, and he will be found. It's now all down to Magisk. At least the mid lurk of Shox has been dealt with, but it's a 1v3. He has the economy to go for it, and he has only a flashbang. At least he has a defuse kit, but that is basically it. That's all he has to work with. And all the crossfires are being held. Just holding for some exits, I think, in the end, to try and save the AK into the next round.
Yeah, it makes the most amount of sense. And even that AWP from ZywOo, not necessary in that site take. What a great backstab that is from Shox. Just being able to hear the sound cue onto that second refrag of at least a peak that wants to come back in from Bubsky. And just had a look at some of the stats as well onto Nuke. ZywOo dropped, what, 30 kills and 9 deaths in map 1. Lucky got the most AWP kills on Nuke of 2. So that means that ZywOo had 1 AWP kill, or maybe none. I can't really remember him ever having the AWP.
That's remarkable, isn't it? I mean, it just shows how incredible of an all-rounder he is.
Yeah.
It's just the rifle, the AWP, the pistols, anything. It's a reason he's one of the best players in the world, and the reason why he has been ranked one of the best players in the world in the past. And yeah, absolutely incredible stuff from him. Bit of a pause coming in, should be no problem, shouldn't take too long. But yeah, Zyro on the T side up, I always feel like it's a little bit scary on Vertigo. I mean, you can get grenaded so easily when you have the AWP, you know, posted up in those angles. But for now, it should be okay for him. I mean, he doesn't have much free reign, does he? I mean, obviously Zyro got most of his kills on that CT side with the Silence M4, it felt like. But with the AWP on the T side, you kind of just need to be posted up and hold angles rather than go in for those ridiculous entries we saw when he pushed ramp all the time on Nuke.
Yeah, it's something to definitely consider. Lucky as well has been incredibly passive with the AWP on this CT side. He hasn't really been exchanging himself of a lot of those aggro plays. He's been holding up in the alley entrance on the scaffolding, off angles on ramp. A lot of the times he's getting 1-for-1, isn't he? That he's getting that first pick, he's getting traded instantly, even though he's 8 kills and 3 deaths. When he's actually had the AWP in his hands, he hasn't had many opportunities of multi-fragging.
Yeah, and that can, when you need multi-frags, don't you? I mean, if you're on the CT side, it can be so important. to get the multi-frags going. And we have a little bit of a break coming in. I believe the round will be reset in a couple of seconds. Shouldn't be too long before we get started. I believe we got the timer counting down right now, so it shouldn't be too long, hopefully, this delay. And we're ready to get started once again. It's a good 4 rounds from Astralis so far. I mean, they won't be unhappy with the way they've come back a little bit here against Team Vitality on a map which is, honestly, even less of a chance of them winning, it feels like, than on Nuke. But, yeah, they're putting up a bit of a better face, and they will have a chance on this full buy with Lucky versus Zyro once again.
Early anti-rush nades with the flashes come through for the CT side. Some pace out for Kyojin, and even for Lucky, he's got to try and get back into safety. Bubsky's going to assist the best that he can, spraying through. Not really any further damage being done to this T side, though.
Yeah, no damage at all. And only that damage to Kajin has really helped them back. But there we go. Bubsky will go for a wallbang and actually will connect it toward Apex. That's a path back into this round. Lucky obviously can still defend on the NWP, but obviously was forced back. He can boost his teammate up toward that little boost area, which means you can see over the default boxes. That could catch off one of these players on Vitality and away back into this round even further. I mean, what do you decide to do here if you're Vitality? Zyro has to look for the picks here. Should be able to spot Bubsky first. Actually gets the tag. 16 HP. Only a tiny bit of damage exchange as well. Puts him down to 89. He's certainly won that damage exchange and gives them a bit more of an even setting in this one.
There's no HGs or mollies to work with from Vitality, so it's going to have to be dry faces. The NWP flick coming through! And Zywoo makes it a couple of kills. That completely opens up the A site, and Astralis just have to back off, have to save onto their weapons. Jeez, what a sequence that is.
Funny, isn't it? We just mentioned how Zyro gets most of his kills on the rifle, at least on map 1. Well, he's pulled out the AWP, and he's just hit 2 ridiculous shots to get Vitality around basically single-handedly. Funny that, isn't it? And that's going to be a beautiful way to announce himself on this map. He's already had a ridiculous first, and now Shox is even hunting for these exits as well. UP will go down. Magisk is last alive toward T-spawn with the AK-47. The save is pretty paramount here. If he does save, I believe they'll have some form of a buy in the next round. So he needs to keep this AK-47. Looks like he will be able to. So no one's really hunting this position as of yet. Vitality need to save at least 4 guns, of course, because, you know, their economy isn't too great either. So it's all about building that up as we enter the business end of this first half.
Shox has been fantastic over this series. We saw it in the first map. He was doing a lot of lurking, got away with a couple of 22 kills overall, plus 11 on the KD differential. And he's doing the same on Vertigo, just assisting whenever necessary. The amount of times he's been in situations late round where he's hunted, try and drop further CTs, get those weapons out of play, destroy the economy. Because even after those 2 picks come in for Zywoo, yeah, the round's over. You can do more than that, and that's what Shox is there for.
Yeah, incredible stuff from Shox. And again, showing why, you know, he can be the insane duo with Zywoo, and always, you know, for years he's been around in that sort of role, you know, doing damage when you wouldn't expect it, and being very cheeky with those sort of plays. And again, fantastic work from him. And those 2 flicks from Zyro, man. I mean, the first one, as I mentioned, tagging down Bubsky to 16 HP. That can happen so much on this map. It's so often you feel like you get a tag with the AWP, but not the frag. And now he's just shown that if you hit them cleanly, they go down. And those were 2 perfectly accurate shots. They're absolutely incredible. And it really sets Vitality going once again, because Astralis are actually not gonna, you know, not gonna bite on this buy. They're gonna save, even though Bubsky has 4.7 in the bank, and go for a full investment in the next with everything they could possibly want.
You might as well give yourself the best chance possible of winning the round, and if that means holding on to more money, then so be it. Walk out from mid. Dupree is just hoping for a slow contact, and there is a lot of mid players here.
Absolutely, and that could be a problem. They are rotating back toward B to begin with. Dupree is toward that sandbags position. That can be hard to find out, but not as hard when you boost up a player up close. Masuti will most certainly look for this one, but Dupree spotted him. Now he's under some pressure. Will he be found? He gets the first bit of damage, but no, Masuta deals with him nicely. And now that's a path back in. That's a great shot from Kajin. Deals with Zipex and takes Lucky as well. Actually, a grenade from Lucky takes him down in his deathbed. But Magisk is still alive. With the AK, gets first, looking for a second, but no, Apex stops him, and that should be it, because Bubsky only has a P250, a smoke, and no armor.
Even for Kyojin, hasn't had a crazy amount of opportunities when it comes to map 1 and map 2 to really show what he's capable of. That one right there, class, clean, double entry that came through on the wrap to get them into the B side. And even Apex is just making sure that he's holding on to all the weapons possible. There shouldn't be too much more damage coming in from Bubsky. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Trav, but there's a clip of Kyojin when he was playing for Heretics against Nexus on Dust 2, and he's with the Deagle, and he and he just domes. It's a 1v5 attempt, and it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I mean, honestly, I have been one of the people to sort of, watch highlight clips of some of these up-and-coming players, and honestly,
Yeah.
I think Kajin's has been, some of the most impressive. His, first bullet aim is absolutely incredible, and if he can, transfer that to a good career, I think he's going to be around for a very, very long time. He is absolutely nutty. But it's a team game, and right now he's on the right team because Team Vitality are up 8-4. Astralis have their full buy available, of course, after that full eco in the previous. Bubsky did manage to collect a defuse kit as well in the previous round, so you will manage to save that over into this and save $400. And now Zoe was going for a pick with the AWP, straight in toward B, that classic pick toward the edge of the wooden panel there. And now, won't be seeing anything for now, so we have to fall back off of it and just spray through the smoke toward A come in.
And this is where I start thinking to myself, even though I've been very happy with the kill distribution for Astralis, is that maybe what they're missing? That star entity, that guy that's going to be able to just recover around out of nowhere. And look at this walk again. They've done this so many times.
Shox is so cheeky with this. The flash will just help him out as well to get even more progress up towards Jen. It's going to be an instant trade, and there's Shox. He'll catch off Dupree. They had no idea they were up that so close. Shox has just made that play time and time again, and it's worked basically every single time. Absolutely remarkable from him. He knows the way to go. They keep finding a way to do it. Astralis haven't found a way to counter it yet. That's a good flash back in from Zipex. This is a 3 versus 3 retake. It's one that we'll go for as well. Shox goes down, but Kajin will swing round, but there's Zipex, second frag for him. It's now all down to Zyro and Apex in this 2 versus 3. Smoke will come in toward the bomb. Bubsky will get on it, but he will be found immediately by Apex. That activates Zyro to peek, gets the first, looking for the second. It's AWP versus AWP. Lucky's looking for the bomb, he can't find it. Finally does, P250's out, we find him in the smoke. It's going to be so close, and he does. Zyro wins out, another clutch for Vitality. Would you expect anything less?
And just the timing. A lot of the times when you're playing B anchor or mid-rotate on the city side of Vertigo, you're going to have that internal clock of just when you hear the util and see it coming over, how quickly the T's can get there. The problem is, Shox is always aggressed so far forward past that wooden panel before util has even come in. So that timing that they're expecting, it's completely off.
Absolutely incredible, isn't it? I mean, that was just perfect stuff in the end. And that spray through the smoke, actually, from Apex was almost off. Only that first portion of the spray did he really get that instant headshot. And if he didn't find it, they swarmed on him straight away. So, yeah, that could have easily been a great round for Astralis, but in the end, stopped by Apex and by Zyro. And that's exactly what you'd expect in that situation. Pistols here for Astralis as we end this first half. That's a beautiful shot from Dupree. We've seen him do some ridiculous stuff with the Deagle in the past, but not if you walk into a Molotov. There's Bubsky trying to make up for it, but it's still a 3 versus 2. Surely not much you can do about that.
No, you can't imagine. So keep players in tight. Lucky up close and personal over to the B side. Could maybe get away with one more kill. Flash over the top. Masuda peeks with it. And just him and Kyojin peek together as a unit. Don't isolate any individual. Zip, just hoping for some damage.
Yeah, and that's all you really can do. You can try and grab a gun, of course, if possible. There are 2 players that have gone down in Vitality, but he's already been spotted out. And he has a bit of utility to work with at least, so he'll expend it. No reason just to go die with it. He knows, I think, where everyone is right now. He seems like he's fully aware of these positions being held by Vitality, but there's nothing you can really do with just the Deagle. It's going to be one of Zipex's classics if he was able to find it, but not to be. And they double swing on him in the end. Kajin and Masuda deal with that. And that'll be double digits on the half of Vitality. Very, very solid indeed. Once again in this match, getting double digits on a half.
And some okay damage. The problem is, when are you ever going to be satisfied with damage? If it's following up to economical turmoil, if it's following up to then answering to the next rifle. And for Astralis, we can keep saying they've done decently on the eco. They've kept it tight. They've kept the weapons out of play. They've kept the economy low. We can keep going on. The problem is rounds. And for them on the city side of Vertigo, they have not achieved enough. They've only managed 4. Getting a 5th will at least make it a positive ending going into the second half. I still don't even know if it's enough going into the second half, though.
Yeah, true. I mean, I always say that if you're on the CT side of Vertigo, I reckon it's hard to say. I would say 5 rounds is actually pretty decent. I wouldn't mind that at all. It's not the worst situation. I mean, we always say that 11-4 is a dangerous lead, but I don't think it's going to be dangerous today if Vitality take this last round of the half. I think they're going to be off and running to a 2-0 victory. But if Astralis get the last and they win the pistol in the next, who knows? We could have something to work with in the second half. It's still, decent showing at least. but it won't be too long again. We've got a bit of a reset coming in. Hopefully it won't be too long before this is rectified and we'll be back into the game. I think it's already been sorted. So very nice, quick work, and we'll be getting underway with the last round of this half of Vertigo.
Yeah, something we were talking about, Travis, early on into the broadcast is players staying with an organization for a long time. Zonic, Dupree, and Zip have been a part of Astralis since the 18th of January 2016. It's crazy to think
Yeah.
about how many years that's been.
I mean, they've been playing together before that as well, haven't they? It's not just been Astralis,
Yeah,
it's, TSM
sure.
as well. Yeah, absolutely incredible. The good old days of CS. And it's still the good old days right now, though, especially if you're Vitality. They're looking fantastic. And although Zywo's been tagged down to 39, there is still a chance because they have actually made a way up toward B a little bit faster than before. Lucky is in position with the AWP toward the bottom of A. There are a couple of players here defending. Zywo is trained on the angle. And Magis will actually deal with Apex on the other side of the map as well. So that's something for Astralis to work with.
That's a start. It's an opening man advantage. It's a way into this round. And for Pubsky, even with that pick, he's searching for more, getting very aggressive down to the bottom of ramp. So much chip damage done into the rest of them.
Yeah, and that could be a problem because the Silence and Fall will just chew these players up. Gets the first, but Zoro does spot him, but Lucky was still there. That's an important trade. Takes Zoro out of the round. And now, just Shox and Kajin remaining. Shox has picked up that AWP as he's only 36 HP. Of course, Shox did used to AWP a bit back in the day, and still does sometimes as a secondary. But he has to do something crazy in this one to make it happen. Molly towards sandbags and try and get some progress towards the site, but there is a player toward double stack and a player towards CT as well, so not really much they can do about this, you'd imagine.
No, you can't think so. Opening kills are going to be everything. The entries, even a backstab play is starting to be set up from Dupree, going down that ladder from the mid position to try and wrap him in. 30 seconds left. They've got to get a move on Vitality.
Yeah, and this wrap from Dupree, I mean, I think it's going to be just in time. There should be nowhere they expect it. They're lining up grenades right now. There's Dupree, finds the first. He knows where Shox is as well. This could be the 10-5 and should be the 10-5 on the half. Exactly what they want. Shox actually goes through the smoke and no scopes. Lucky close up. That is dirty, but he needs a ridiculous clutch with 11 seconds to go, and it won't be happening. It's 10-5. It's a little bit better for Astralis, but it's still rough. We'll see you after the break to see if they can keep it going versus Astralis in the third place playoff for IEM 4, the last match in the EU portion for this event. My name is Travis, I'm alongside Dweg. We have a second half coming in. Can Vitality make it an even cleaner victory than we even expected beforehand?
Well, they've been tested to a level that we didn't really see from the Astralis on the start of that. So now going into the second half, it is still a juicy lead in for Vitality, and Astralis start putting their players into the B stairs looking for the B exec. It's going to be Shox as the anchor on B.
Yeah, and he could be under a lot of pressure because look at the utility. They had 2 Molotovs of smoke, 3 flashes as well. Look at the ladling of utility on toward B. Shox is forced into the open, but just before that flash comes through, he gets one, and Ambersuit is here to help out. Great trade from him, even a second, and now it's going to be a 2v4 to try and sort out. Bubsky will at least manage to take the shooter, but that's all. Zoro is rotating in. Bubsky actually takes Zoro as well, okay. 2 versus 2, and there's Apex to help out. Now it's all down to Magisk. He's going to go for the frags instead. He wants to advance further because there's a player behind him. He knows it. The bomb dropped on the site, only a few bullets left in the clip. 1 bullet, he actually hits it with the 1 bullet, and he's been afforded the reload as well, but no, Kajin punishes him. So close to getting that reload off and even getting a chance to shoot, but not to be, and Vitality will grab their 11th.
Good attempt at trying to isolate those picks in the 1v2 for Magis, just isn't quite enough. And for Vitality as a whole, that's a great setup. They've got Shox playing out to quad, being the B anchor, and he wastes time, gets away with at least 1 pick before falling. Masuta on rotation was really the key entity in that round. The way that he's able to get a couple of kills, set at least that backstab in from, we saw Apex down for the B stairs just to get him from behind them, making the 11th round possible for Astralis. No bomb plant, no buy.
Yep, and he's got a couple of grenades to try and catch off one of these CTs on an angle and try and get that double grenade possibility. But Vitality know it. They've got 3 SMGs on this one with just the 2 FAMASs, so they know that it's going to be a fully equipped for Astralis. And yeah, that was some beautiful shots really hit there from Vitality. It can be so hard to do when there's a madness coming in during the util. And the fact they had full execute coming in, especially with the 2 Molotovs, was particularly ridiculous. But in the end, not to be. It's the headshots that count in the end. And it will mean that Vitality have this free path to their 12th round. Just Bubsky and Magisk remaining with just pistols and no armor. Already, there's some damage being done to them.
A nice little tap coming through from Magis. You'd be happy with that. There's not much investment. You've got a couple of P250s here or there. and you get away with 3 kills. Yeah, it's not quite the bomb plan. It's not all that extra cash injection. You can get those rifles forward. The problem Astralis are going to be facing is not the economy situation, Travis. It's going to be the scoreline. 5-12 down, a deficit of 7. That's not easy to come back from.
True, true. They do have the T side of Vertigo to work with, which, you know, is always probably the best side to be on this map. And if they can get past this buy, then they have a pretty good chance in this half to at least make it competitive. With the Vitality win it, you know, with the UMP still on Zywu, you can make any gun look insane. But still, it's a situation where, you know, if they lose this one, they're probably staring down the barrel of 14.
Just comes down to how much building can start off with this opening rifle. Zywu getting very aggressive in with this UMP, wanting to get up close and personal, and so far the T's don't know about him.
Yeah, he's fully blind. Surely gets his focus on Magisk. Always caught him in the back there, caught him with his pants down. Finally traded by Zipex, but that's a good frag for a UMP in a buy round such as this. It's not the SMG of choice really these days. Everyone seems to go to the MP9, but Zywu seems to like it. And Apex, even through the smoke, is going to deal with Zipex. That is dirty. 4 versus 3. He's poked up as well, looking for the frag. Actually gets caught though, jump spotting, but it activates Jocks. Does great damage, gets the first, not the second, traded, but it activates Masuta to do even more. They don't expect another push to come through. He gets 1, falls back as well, and they know where Lucky is. 1 versus 2 for Lucky. There's a bit of a better game than Nuke, but it's surely beyond him. He can get the bomb planted, but he's going to be mollied out of position. Has to fall back. They know he's basically gone only in one spot, and they can play off each other here. Masuta and Kajin both have defuse kits. The 2 youngsters of Vitality doing a chance here to have a great chance of going for the clutch. Oh, actually, that lineup almost happened. Look at the HP. Goodness me. 29 combined. Great attempt, but in the end, not to be.
And that was well placed to come in for Vitality in that 2v1, that they can realize straight away that he's going out to that yellow and alley entrance rather than back into ramp, just with the information they've got, with the utility being quite light. And you mentioned how there's an advantage here for Astralis right on T's side, that they can try and bring it back. Yeah, it's an odd one, because you have a look at their last few results, the Heroic game, the Liquid game, the Vitality game in the past, all of which they've started on the CT side. I just want to run through some of their T-sided performances in those 3 games, Travis. Yep. Against Heroic in Pro League, they got 2 rounds on T. Against Vitality, when it came to them in the Blast Fall groups, they got 6 rounds on T. Against Liquid, 5 rounds on T. So when you start really adding it up, that they started CT, they built foundations, and then just could not deliver in the second half. And now seeing that round play out, now being 5-13, is there really any room here to work with?
Yeah, I'm not sure anymore, to be honest. I mean, when you lose against the bonus buy as well as Vitality, that just keeps their economy at a pretty good stage as well. Sure, they only survive with 2 players alive, but still, it's a rough one for Astralis. And now, they have a buy, of course. And considering they got the bomb plant, it helps them out quite a significant amount. We have Zipex on the Mac 10 and Magic's only on the Galil. Of course, the Galil's a very good gun, but they need absolutely full strength to make these rounds win, because they can't do it with the full AKs at the moment.
Oh, Masuda, look at this. He's got bomb control. He's stuck in behind them. How has this gap been exposed?
I can't believe it. This is going to be disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. Are we going to have a big spray down here from Masuda? He's leaving behind 3 players. They have absolutely no idea. There's 1, there's 2. Now Lucky's finally allergic to it, but that makes the other 8 players pounce. He can only get 1. Can he get more? He's wildly spraying. Actually does well to stay alive, considering he's in that position. But in the end, it's going to be an absolute cleanup. Kajin's even in T-spawn with the information on the bomb. How on earth have they let that one slip? That's a huge gap they've just exposed.
Okay, so let's think about this for a moment. So Masuda pushes mid, goes down ladder, backsteps into ramp, gets 2 kills, realizes pretty quickly, oh, actually, Lucky's still here at ramp. He goes back in to that forklift position, gets a 3rd kill, and then Q just push B stairs.
Oh my god. I mean, that's how I'd react if I was Astralis, to be honest. That is painful to the extreme. Everything's being exposed right now, and they're down to pistols. It's just Eagles to work with in this one to try and prevent Vitality from reaching match point. That is dirty stuff from that CT side. Exposing the gaps, exposing the situation there. A huge gap in the defense, completely ruined for Astralis, and Kai's doing even more damage. Great stuff from him. He's even got shocks in support as well. And that should be it. 15 on the board for Vitality, just 2 kills away.
They're just cleaning it up at this point, aren't they? Bubsky, last one left. Shocks just pressing forward. Hungry for this last pick, and it's going to get found. 15-5. 1 more to go for Vitality. Geez, this hasn't even been them tested, has it? You have a look at the last head-to-heads. It's been, what, in history, 7 best-of-3s or 11 best-of-3s in general. Astralis have won 7 of them. Vitality have won 4. The last 3 meetings have all gone the way of Vitality. It's all been online. Vitality have never beaten Astralis on LAN, and they're going to do it in a 2-0 fashion without even, breaking a sweat by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's been a painful last 2 days to be an Astralis fan, hasn't it? They lost to ENG 16-4, 16-7, and they're about to lose to Vitality in even more convincing fashion, it feels like. Only one more round needed for the CT side, for the Frenchmen to get themselves through to that 3rd place officially at the end of this game. Zipex does well, though, to advance past the smoke. Actually does catch off Zyru, but Apex now has a chance to refrag. Has to fall off of it, though, as he's getting pressured from every angle.
A start in the round to come in from Astralis. That lurk play up from Zepex coming to the top of ramp is going to assist with an opening man advantage. Masuda giving some util back over to Apex, trying to see if they could slow it down out to ramp.
It's going to be a tough one. It's Apex for one, and there's Masuda with another. Oh, could this be it? Could this be 3rd place locked in? They have a 4 versus 3 to work with. There's a minute on the clock for Astralis to do something. Hubsky is lurking toward the middle, but there's an elevated position from Sharks. Oh, that's dirty. How are you ever going to predict that one? It's now all down to Lucky and Dupree to try and save it in a 2v4.
Just such an off angle that you're not expecting at all. Lucky has to flick down onto the default position, deals with Apex. They don't know about Masuda, who's starting to make a way forward. He's just hiding out, waiting for those rotates to come through, trying to get the assistance from the B players of Shock and Kyojin. Yeah,
and it's the right thing to do as well. He spots the head of the first. Can he creep up and get this damage? There's some frags coming in, and there we go. Kajin gets the first. It's all down to Lucky, but 2 quick fire frags from Kajin secures Vitality's 3rd place in IEM Fall. And that is that. Astralis have been destroyed once again for the 2nd time in 2 days, and that is the EU portion of IEM Fall done.